on First Things First with Bleacher Report senior writer Howard Beck. Last night, the Lakers rallied from down 19 points in the third to take down the Rockets 111-106. LeBron led the way with 29 points, 11 boards, 6 assists. And the Lakers are now back at 500 and 2.5 games back of the 8th seed. Here is LeBron after the win.
You know, we got a fresh start for us, and it's the second half of the season. You know, the trade deadline is over with. This is our squad. I'm happy with who we got. I love our squad, and I look forward to seeing how we continue to battle for the rest of the season.
Howard, did LeBron prove last night that he can carry the Lakers into the playoffs?
He reminded us. I mean, I think he'd proven that before, right? And then he missed 17 games, and things kind of went haywire, and then they tried to trade his whole roster. So, no, I mean, the one thing we should not have doubts about the Lakers, and I don't think anybody really has, is that as long as healthy, LeBron's still LeBron. The question has always been about, what about the rest of these guys? Brandon Ingram had a huge game last night, and that was the guy that everybody was saying or expecting and hoping to see if you're a Laker fan. Where has that been? Can he keep doing that? Because LeBron needs a wingman at some point, and no one has emerged from that group. As much as that young group was hyped, no one has emerged, and that's why they were all on the trade block, because it was, hey, maybe somebody else can make better use of you. So I don't, to me, it's never been about how far LeBron can carry the Lakers. It's how far those guys can support him to get him where he needs to go.
Well, here's the one thing, and to your point, I think LeBron hasn't gone out his way to get those guys involved early on in the season because LeBron didn't know what was going to be possible or what wasn't going to be possible at the trade deadline. But now that these guys realize this is the team that they have moving forward, we're past the All-Star break. Like, this is the time of year where LeBron recognizes, okay, it's got to pick up. And it's probably a little earlier than he would like. Matter of fact, that's exactly what he said earlier in the week. Like, he has to turn it on a little earlier just based on the situation that they're in. But right now, they're 2.5 games behind the Clippers. The Warriors did them a solid by beating the Kings last night. So it's absolutely inside the realm of possibility that the Lakers could make a postseason push. But I think in order to do that, it's going to be on LeBron to get those young guys involved. And I think we saw glimpses of that last night, him deferring to Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma in certain situations. I thought it was a sneaky good move at the deadline by Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson to trade for Reggie Bullock because he provides some outside shooting. They can space the floor in half-court sets. But ultimately, it's going to come down to LeBron being able to trust those young guys because they're going to have to play an integral role if they're going to make a push for the postseason.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hal. It's never been about LeBron's production. Obviously, even in the first half, when some people thought he wasn't playing as well, his numbers were still through the roof. But there have been questions, and fair ones, about his intensity, his energy, his defense, his engagement. And last night, I thought he brought all those things. There were a few times where body language was bad, but that's to be expected maybe from any star player. But look, defensively, I thought he hustled. We saw him take the big charge late in the game. I think he set a good tone for the guys on that end of the floor. He guarded Clint Capella in spells. He doesn't really like guarding big men in the post. And then offensively, he moved more without the ball than I've seen him in a while. He posted up, and sometimes I felt like he should have been more aggressive in trying to score in the post. He had Chris Paul on him, sometimes PJ Tucker, but still he was down there posting up, playing off the ball. I just think he set a better tone for all the other guys to follow. And now I don't think they're looking at it like, man, it's kind of LeBron and then the rest of us, and he's kind of looking at getting rid of us anyway. Now I think they're saying, okay, he's engaged. We're all in this together. Let's follow the leader.
And it seemed like that. It seemed much more of a collective effort. He's activated not only in his play, but also mentally engaged with these guys. Howard, do you think Brandon Ingram is the most important piece, the most important factor aside from LeBron to help get them there? When you look at this roster and you look at these players, what guys need to make sure that they are consistently impactful for this Lakers team to get to the postseason?
Yeah, you could go any number of directions with this, Sarah, right? Like, Brandon Ingram is the guy who can do the most. I mean, he's a versatile wingman for LeBron, a guy who can also handle the ball, make plays, score when he's on his best nights, and a versatile defender. But you could say that Lonzo Ball is key because this team, when it's been at its best defensively, it's with Lonzo at the point, and they got to get him back healthy. But it's this is not a proven group. Let's remember, this is a group that was in the lottery for the last several years without LeBron, and he's still new to them. And I think we kind of keep forgetting about, look, there's still an integration process that goes on over the course of a season here.
keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no. But Ingram is the guy who I think had to make one of the biggest adjustments. Not having the ball in his hands as much, not being able to try to lead the way we saw him try to do a little bit when LeBron was out. Mixed results. But I feel like if he really emerges, they're solid. They're in great shape. They're going to make the postseason.
What do you think the integration process will be like for Lonzo Ball when he comes back? How challenging do you think that will be for both Ball and for LeBron in this group?
I think it's going to be really tough because if these guys really get on a roll, and, last night, look, we've seen some false starts by the Lakers before, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. But if they really get on a roll, and that's happening without Lonzo Ball. And you've already got, LeBron has the ball in his hands, and Rondo's got the ball in his hands, and Ingram can do a lot with the ball in his hands. Lonzo's going to have to try to figure out, well, where do I fit in this? Because that's really the one thing he does, that and defense. He's not going to sit out there as a spot-up shooter. We know that. So, yeah, I think that's going to be one of those key questions down the stretch.
Yeah, I've wondered about it because they do play him a lot as a spot-up shooter, because LeBron has the ball. But if Bullock can bring what he brought last night, he is their best three-point shooter. Yeah. That's why they signed him. He hit, 4 last night, I think, with 14 points.
Yeah.
If he does that, I'm with you. Lonzo is great for their defense. But if Bullock is shooting the ball like that, where does he fit in offensively? That's an interesting question. Maybe he takes Rondo's minutes, but it'll be interesting.
Chancey brought up a great point about LeBron saying that he has gotten himself, a little bit earlier than he's anticipated, ready for his postseason form play. Do you think LeBron can sustain this at this age, at his mileage? Do you anticipate that he can play in this manner and with this engagement throughout the course of these last 24 games?
I have no doubt about it as long as he stays healthy. I mean, the guy is superhuman. He seems indestructible. We saw a little bit of a nick in that, with the groin injury. But as long as LeBron's healthy, I mean, what have we seen that would make any of us doubt that LeBron can sustain it at this level? I think he can. I think he will. I think they're going to lock down one of those last playoff spots in the West. They've got 2 games left against the Clippers and 1 against the Kings. They've got every opportunity to make that push.
Yeah, I trust LeBron James when he says that he's going to ratchet up the intensity. I think this is going to be his sustained level of play, but it's more about being able to trust the young guys. And I think that LeBron James showing those guys that he trusts them in big spots goes a long ways in terms of being able to instill confidence in them. And a confident player that understands his role is going to be a more effective player. And confidence also comes from demonstrated performance. So I think those young guys proved something to themselves last night, mainly Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma, because you saw in certain situations late in that game, LeBron James deferred to the young guys. So if they can continue to have that kind of rapport moving forward down the end of the regular season, I think they'll find themselves making it to the postseason.
Yeah, and I think something that's going to help him stay motivated to play at this level the rest of the regular season is that, look, he won't admit it, and I'm not suggesting he's happy or satisfied with anything but a championship, but he knows in his heart of hearts, getting this team to the playoffs at this point is a victory. Even if you go there and get swept by Golden State or beat in 5 games. And I think he's also pushing for that 7th seed. Because I believe if they get to 7, and I know Denver is a very good team, but they're nothing special on the road, and none of them have any type of postseason experience, I would take LeBron James in that series with Denver. So I think he's probably eyeing, I'm not just trying to get in at 8. I'm trying to get in at 7, and maybe we can make some noise.
Awesome. Howard, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
And you got an extraordinary podcast, the full 48.
Full 48, thank you.
Listen, it's great stuff.
Always good.
Coming up, could Russell Wilson be taking his talents to another NFL team? That's next on First Things First.